Overcoming Depression Part 4, Causes and Where to Start. Type 3, When There Is No Cause. Stay tuned and subscribe for the rest. Hey guys, so this video is part 4 in a full series on overcoming depression. If you haven't seen the first 3 videos yet, you should probably do that now, because in this video I pick up right where I left off in the last one. So if you haven't seen it yet, I hope you check it out first. And without any further ado, here we go!
You create what you feel and you can make what you want real. There is a way to make the change. It cannot wait another day.
The third cause of depression is when there is no cause. Maybe you grew up fairly privileged, you have really good parents, you never really had to want for anything. And yet you still hate yourself. You hate your life. You hate most things. And you find yourself feeling depressed, and yet you talk down to yourself because you're like, I have no reason to be depressed. Why are you depressed? Like, shut up. And that's not going to help your depression. It doesn't matter what you've been through. We all have been through a lot of different experiences, and some of the happiest people have nothing in the eyes of society, whereas those who seem to have everything in the eyes of society can be some of the most self-loathing, self-critical, self-harmful people you will ever meet. It's not about what you have. It's about the story you tell yourself about what you have or what you don't have. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling depressed, even if you grew up with great parents, even if you grew up and everything seemed perfect from the outside. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling depressed. Depression is something that I don't think I know anyone in my personal life who isn't struggling currently or hasn't struggled with it. It is rampant, okay? There's nothing wrong with you for being depressed, even if you can't pinpoint to a certain thing that happened. There are other things that could be causing your depression that you're just not aware of. Just because you had good parents growing up doesn't mean they did everything right. Doesn't mean that everything they said to you was building good beliefs. They can love you and still instill limiting beliefs in you. They can love you more than anything in the world and still leave you with beliefs that you're not good enough, that you are unworthy. And they don't realize they're doing this. They have no intention of doing this. And you don't even realize you've made those connections, but you did. The littlest thing can create this whole story that we tell ourselves about it. And the instance may be minimal, but the impact that it made can be a lifetime's worth. It doesn't matter what you've been through. And if you tell yourself that you're stupid for being depressed, that's not going to help you, because the story that you're telling yourself is going to be the biggest cause of what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and then in turn, what you're doing and how you're living. The story that you tell yourself is more important than what happened. The things you say to yourself are way more impactful than the things that other people tell you. You may have had someone say something very small when you were younger, like, oh, your hair looks weird like that. And that may have just taken into a belief that you now think you're weird looking and you're never going to be attractive and no one's ever going to love you. And like, the littlest things can turn into these giant just thought crumbles of garbage in our mind. It doesn't have to be something big that happened to you. And even if you think nothing happened to you, you still have every right to be depressed. Your feelings are still valid. If you are feeling like this, even if you have no reason to, you still don't deserve to be feeling like this. Yeah, other people had it worse than you, okay, but you're still miserable, so how does that help them? How does that help you? It doesn't help anyone. So you don't need to compare yourself. Just because you didn't go through the same things that other people went through, you still may have developed the same beliefs that they developed because of what they went through. Just because your experience isn't the same, your takeaway may be exactly the same. Feeling depression is, fortunately, pretty normal for most people, regardless of what you have or haven't been through. And if you've really gone through nothing, you can't pinpoint any reason for you to be depressed. Maybe you do have a chemical imbalance in your brain, and if that's the case, see a professional. Still watch this video, because there will still be helpful tips that you can implement even if you do need additional help. But if you need that additional help, don't be afraid to go and get it. Yes, there is this weird stigma, but that stigma doesn't come from a place of love. It comes from a place of understanding how powerful our thoughts are and wanting to keep people trapped in this limited power bubble of crap. The stigma is complete nonsense to keep you trapped exactly where you don't want to be. That's all it is. It's nonsense. So get the additional help if you need it, because the only person that you're hurting is yourself. And as I've said, you don't deserve that. So if you need additional help, go and get it. And maybe don't stick with the first person that you see. If you're not feeling it, if they're not listening to you, find someone who will. If you need help, get it, but don't settle for someone that's not willing to actually help you. Like, no. Keep searching till you find someone that is just as invested in your mental health as I am and as you should be. Find someone that will really actually help you. Subscribe and stay tuned for part 5 of Overcoming Depression, where we conclude our section on our different causes and where to start by discussing when it can be a mix of all 3 different causes that we have talked about thus far and what they have in common. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you then.